Hello Scouters, we just came back from camping out on the weekend and we need to reset up our tents to air them out. We air out tents so that the moisture that's collected during the weekend does not cause mold on our tents. So we're just going to demonstrate how to set them up for you, right?
Yep.
And then we will talk a little bit about each step along the way. So to start off, we have our tent footprint, and it protects the bottom of the tent. You could also use a regular tarp, and at the end we'll make sure that if it's too big we'll tuck in the tarp underneath the tent. So we've unrolled our tent. Inside our tent are stakes and our poles. So first we will unfold our tent. Next we need our poles. For this tent we had some thin poles for the rain tarp. We'll do those later. Put together one of the poles, and I'll put together the other pole for our dome tent. And the first thing we're going to do is slide it through the sleeve that goes all the way across the top of the tent, and it'll connect to the other side. I want to make sure I do not put my feet on the tent. So slide all the way through. And then we'll do that with the other pole. At each corner of the tent, this one has a little peg that you slide into the end of the pole. Okay. Oops, our door is facing the wrong way. Let's turn it around. Now, there's several clips here we have to clip together. Not all tents have a little pole for holding up the front. At each corner, make sure we have our straps tightened down. We make sure it's angled so it's harder to pull out, and the end goes into the ground to hold it steady. The next corner, make sure you pull your tent tight so we make a nice square out of the tent. So you can see how when we pull this tight, it keeps the fly away from the tent, which helps keep the tent dry. Let's pretend your footprint or tarp is too big for the size of your tent. What you want to do is to fold up edges to be underneath the tent. That way, if rain is dripping down your tent, it doesn't drip onto the tarp and then roll underneath your tent. So that's how we set up our tent. It'll keep us nice and dry and comfortable for our campouts. There are of course many different kinds of tents and shapes, and they may set up differently than ours. But you'll have instruction and a parent to help you.
Thank you for watching our tent setup video.
See you later.
Bye.
A question often asked is, how do you get the tent to fit back in the bag? Well, in general, if your poles can fit the width of your folded tent, you'll be able to fit it back in. Lengthwise anyways. When you roll it up, you gotta make sure you roll very tight. And before you start rolling, make sure you unzip the door so the air can escape. A lot of tents come with stakes that look like this. Oftentimes you might encounter a rock while hitting them, and they sometimes end up looking like this. Recently I found these tent stakes to be better at avoiding bent stakes they're actually a triangular shape. In addition, they have a little rope, which makes it easier to pull out at the end of your camping trip. And up here is a little notch where the rope or the metal ring can sit.